One. So, hello everybody. I am Hamer Hayes, also known as Hamer the Hypnotist, and I have the lovely Danielle Porter with me today. This is our very first podcast of the Hyp Thoughts podcast, the place for you to learn about all things hypnosis. And today I've asked Danielle to talk a little bit about her journey and what inspired her to become a hypnotherapist in this world. Because something I've come to realize is that most of us who came on this incredible journey to become hypnotists and hypnotherapists began our journey from a low point in our lives. And we felt compelled to help others because we know from our own experience just how rapidly, positively, and permanently it's transformed our lives. So tonight, it's both my pleasure and my privilege to introduce Danielle to you. She's an expert in content-free hypnosis. Will you please join me in giving me a warm welcome to Danielle? So,
hello. Thank you, Hamer. Thank you for having me.
it's absolutely my pleasure. So I'm curious, I'd like to know a little bit more about what inspired you to become a hypnotist, Danielle.
Thank you. So, after a chaotic 30 odd years and not really knowing what my problem was, but never really managing to sort all areas of my life out, I had a friend that was a hypnotherapist, and she said to me, "Listen, let me just help you." And I remember just thinking, it's not that I don't respect what she does, but I just felt like I'm too messed up. No one can help me. I didn't see how it could. And she took me into hypnosis. I had an emotional detox, and the rest is history. I let go of years and years of crap that my subconscious had been holding on to, and everything just fell into place. And it was like a cascade effect. And yeah, I'm here to tell the tale.
Fantastic. So when you had that first emotional detox, tell me a little bit about that for the viewers. What was it like to experience that?
So I remember first going into hypnosis, and I remember sitting there for the first 30 seconds thinking, am I in hypnosis? Should I say something? I don't know what to say. Don't feel any different. And all of a sudden, she made a physical suggestion, and I couldn't lift my index finger. And I thought, okay, cool. I must be in hypnosis. I'll run with it. And she asked my subconscious to let go of anything negative. And that was an umbrella term. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations. And all of a sudden, I just let out some tears. And I remember just feeling amazing. I wasn't upset. It was just a physical, somatic, emotional release. And I felt amazing. I felt like the world had been lifted off my shoulders, and I could see the wood for the trees then. And that's when you can start making normal decisions, things that don't feel based on fear or stress or disappointment and whatever comes with that. Yeah, it was a really profound, life changing moment.
Yeah.
And as a therapist, it's one of the most beautiful things that we give people. And it's so nice to see the way people go, oh, thank God, I can just breathe. And you don't know what
Mm.
you're getting rid of. You just do. Your subconscious knows. And that's the beauty of it. There's no content needed. I don't need to ask you to rake over your trauma, nor did I. And half the things
Yeah.
I didn't know, my brain just got rid of, which was, yeah, beautiful.
It's wonderful, isn't it? It's quite cathartic when you go into. I've had an emotional detox with you,
You
so
did.
I know what it feels like to go into trance and to begin to let go of all those negative feelings. If you were to give someone one piece of advice that was thinking about trying hypnotherapy out for the very first time, what would you tell them? How would you describe the experience?
Okay, I mean, it's a myriad of things. And I feel like if my first bit of advice would be to just go in with an open mind, because actually hypnosis is subjective, it's different for everyone, but the state's the same and the intention's the same. So know that your hypnotherapist wants the best for you. So I just went straight in with that advice, and it, when I had it personally, and it served me well. And it definitely works for clients as well. If you just go in with it and think, do you know what? You're not going to try and do anything sinister. I'm in charge of my brain and I'm going to use this facility to get to where I need to be. So that would be my advice, is to just run with it. You've got nothing to lose. And normally by the time people come to us hypnotherapists, they've normally tried everything and it's normally a last resort. And you get to that stage where you're like, look, I've got nothing to lose. And that is actually a beautiful state of mind to be in. But also to know the power of your own brain and that it's 100% client driven. So anything you achieve is not down to the hypnotherapist. We're the friendly door ladies or door gentlemen. It's more about what you can achieve with your thoughts. So empowering.
I think that's quite important, and quite an important point you've made there, Danielle, because it is. It's never about us as hypnotists or hypnotherapists, is it? It's about the client
Yeah.
and what they're experiencing in the moment. I usually say something quite similar to my clients as you. I say,
Yeah.
I can't have this experience for you. I can only
Yeah.
guide you. You're the only one that can actually have that experience, and you are in complete control throughout the process. I think sometimes our clients think, are you going to turn me into a cat or a dog or something
Yeah.
like that? But I say, yeah, that we charge extra for that. So
Absolutely. You know, we will always want film evidence for you've been framed or whatever. It's way too much for us.
there we go. So typically, what type of person do you like to attract? The sort of person you like to help?
I welcome absolutely everybody. I mean, I am an addiction, I consider that to be my niche, but I absolutely welcome everybody. And this is what I love about hypnosis. It's not a one size fits all. And I so often hear people say, oh, you're going to think this is so stupid. And in my head, I'm thinking, trust me, nothing is out of the ordinary. Can help with anything. I helped somebody regain a lost language that they, as a
Wow.
child, they had lived abroad, spoke the language, and the family were all together. And something happened within the family that was quite traumatic. And they stood on the doorstep of their home and said, I'm never going to speak this language again. Out of almost, out of spite. And granted, it was trauma. And as a middle-aged person, they couldn't recall the language. So even though they could hear it, understand it, write it, they could not say the words because there was a mental block through trauma. And yeah, I helped them regain their native language. So that was really beautiful. And
Right.
and like I say, nothing is too out of the ordinary
Yeah.
that your mind can't overcome or achieve.
You're very much a hands-on, real-world hypnotist, aren't you?
Yeah.
From what I remember, of working with you, uh, you,
Yeah.
you you just get on with it. You're not phased if someone brings something different to the problem that they presented with you initially. You'll just go with it, won't you? And
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing you can't achieve. And I think that's what hypnosis gave me personally, as well as professionally. Personally, it's really impacted my life in the fact that I know I can achieve anything. I know there's nothing I can't overcome. And it gives you a real empowerment as a person. And I think anyone that's gone away and had a great experience with hypnosis has probably taken away that same level of sort of, I'm unstoppable. I'm untouchable, and it's a great feeling.
yeah. So, do you help people with boosting self-esteem and self-confidence and all of that sort of stuff? Is that one of the things that you?
Yeah, yeah. Because funnily enough, when I first became a hypnotherapist, I really found my successes in helping people quit drugs and alcohol, especially cocaine abuse. And I really thought that was going to be my niche. And it was strange when I first had a few clients that, needed help with confidence and letting go of negative self-belief. And wow, and that changed everything for me also personally, because although I was quite together by the time I was a therapist, it really gave me that extra charge, because watching ladies, especially during the menopause, that have been
Yeah.
perfectly confident in the past, and hormonal changes had just got taken them by surprise, and they just didn't know how to deal with that. And so, in able to implant positive messages inside their subconscious, let go of negative beliefs that have been built up in the change in them. And then it just went from there. And I started seeing teenagers and building their confidence for school and around their friends, because it's an absolute like wolf pit being a teenager, isn't it? And, you know,
Yeah.
giving children and adolescents the confidence to go about their lives, and in those really dodgy few years. So yeah, I've actually, that's one of the things that I think is the base of anything. So I don't really think you can fully address anything without addressing self-belief and confidence.
Yeah. Confidence, self-belief, they're huge
Yeah.
things. When you were talking about menopausal women or premenopausal women,
Mm,
I would imagine that the market for that must be huge, because there are so many women that the way their children are where their children are growing up, and their role
mm,
as a mother is beginning to change. And there must come a point when you ask yourself, well, who am I, and what, role?
mm. That's the hardest thing, is identity. Us as women, we spend our lives trying to be what we think we should be. And then menopause comes along and goes, I've got other ideas, love. And it's great. It's great to see women can accept this transitional period and embrace it and actually understand it. But yeah, I mean, we can definitely calm down the menopausal rage. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. Ask my teenager. And, I think that having the brain reset, rewired, nervous system calming down, ducks in a row. That's when you can think clearly and you're not full of rage and you're not feeling like you're losing yourself, because you know who you are.
Yeah, re-establishing your identity and
Mm,
connecting with that deeper part of your mind is it's important, isn't it, to be able to
yeah.
know who you are.
Yeah. And to be able to appreciate and celebrate the fact that you're surviving a period that isn't the best time in your life. And that's actually a flex. And I think this is the thing. It's about knowing that, yeah, we all carry stuff in life, but it's about sifting through, getting rid of the stuff that isn't helpful and the stuff that we can actually empower ourselves with.
Oh yeah. So when you're talking to other women who are going through similar challenges, when they're going through the challenge of menopause, what are one piece of advice that you would, if there was just one piece of advice that you could give them, what would that be?
Regulation physically. So a lot of menopause can be adapted or dealt with diet, exercise, health, general health. And so in the sessions, we can implant suggestions that will build healthy habits in order to keep that body running properly. Then, when the body feels like it's not under as much strain and it's
Yeah.
firing on all four cylinders, that's when we work on the emotion. And we're feeling good. It's okay. I see this emotion. I'll sit with it. I can have lunch with it, but I'm not going to move in with it. And it's about us accepting that we're multifaceted human beings. We have emotions, but it's about handling them in a way that isn't eroding into our well-being.
Yeah, that's so important to be able to do that. And I think men get it as well.
Absolutely.
We get well, we have to live with you, beautiful
Yeah,
creatures as well.
and transitional changes. You go from being that young fella that felt fit as hell and nothing could stop you, to all of a sudden,
Yeah,
maybe
that
you,
dodgy.
yeah. And some people get, as we get older, we get health conditions, and it really can affect how you see yourself. And self perception is everything, as far as I'm concerned.
Most definitely. Obviously, I've had my own experiences in life, and I've discovered that the attitude that you take when you have these problems, it's not what happens to you in life. It's how it's the meaning you give to what happens to you, and how you perceive it, and how you respond or don't respond to it, that really determines you. And I know you have a wealth of experience with this. I know you also have an incredible release with the kickboxing that you do. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so just so you know, your positivity is absolutely infectious. Every time I've ever worked with you, you have always really, and that is what I've always wanted to promote, but you do it naturally. You just have it. So when I talk about my boxing, so I used to do kickboxing, and I got to an age where it started aching a little bit when I don't know, the kicks. So I decided to start boxing again a couple of years ago, and the somatic release, I've never felt that dopamine rush. And as somebody that had quite a misspent youth with substances, to be able to get that buzz that is actually bigger and it lasts, and it's not impacting my life in any other way apart from positively. And I always encourage all my clients to take up an interest. It doesn't have to be boxing, but I find, because I'm learning a skill and I'm learning it at 44,
Yeah.
so I'm a bit behind the time anyway. So I feel like learning the skill, the dopamine of actually improving and achieving, that's gold. And dopamine's everything as far as I'm concerned. The more I study the brain, the more I understand that as humans, we're driven by dopamine a lot of the time. And a lot of people were like, I just don't know why I want a bottle of wine every night. And I'm like, well, what have you done that's brought you joy all day? Well, I got up in the dark, didn't play any music in the car, had a rubbish breakfast or didn't eat, moaned all day, or sat with someone that moaned all day and then went to bed. It's like, where's your joy coming from? And if I said to someone, I want you to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life, at some point they'd say, I'm going out. No, I'm going out. And that's what the dopamine is. The dopamine is the, come on, give me some joy, you
I,
know?
I think so. And I don't really think that there's anything wrong with the dopamine, but it's the pursuit of dopamine,
Mm,
of pure dopamine, that causes the problems, and the way we go about pursuing it with with
yeah.
addictive pursuits, if we're not careful. But one of the things that hypnotherapy has done for me anyway, and I can see that this has done for you as well.
So when I talk about dopamine, I always say that it's like having a game of Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember him with his little rings? And he used to ping about and it'd be like ping, ping, ping. And I know that I've got a few things in my tool belt that if I'm feeling a little bit like, "Ugh," I know that I can get some music on. I'm going to move my body. I'm going to dance. I'm going to do some exercise. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to put a comedy show on. And those little things are going to raise that dopamine and get me back where I need to be. Because life's hard. We spin plates. We're busy. I've got jobs. I'm keep running a house. And life gets a little bit humdrum if we let it. And that's when and when they say, when you're starving, you'll eat anything. It's the same thing when you're not getting dopamine. You might make the wrong choices about where that dopamine comes from. So make
Oh
right.
yeah,
So that's the
I
thing,
know
Hamer,
about
and
that one.
you've learned, haven't you? You're constantly skinning up. You're always away on courses. You're always interacting with people. You're always pushing yourself outside of the box, and that's what gives you the dopamine. It's the self improvement, the absolute quest for knowledge, and that is what feels better than any sort of quick fix, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And being able to
Yeah.
set other people free as well, or guide them to a point where they can set themselves free.
I know that's your
That
real,
gives me such a buzz.
that really is what's so beautiful, is because a lot of people are skeptical about the intentions of a hypnotherapist or a hypnotist. And what's amazing about you is nobody who ever meets you is in any doubt about you've got their bestest interests, you know? And I love the fact that it gives you that buzz
Sure.
because it's what we're here for.
Well, absolutely it is. It's not a completely altruistic thing because when I'm putting positive suggestions inside of you, guess who
Yeah,
else's
by
unconscious mind
proxy.
is listening? So there is a selfish
I
reason as
love
well.
that. You know, yeah. Well, you know what? We've got to do what we've got to do to be happy, and I think happiness is infectious, isn't it?
It absolutely is. There's two things about happiness that have really changed the way I view it. One is if you want to feel happy, think happy thoughts. And the other one is surround
Absolutely.
yourself with happy people.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you've got to have a shit shield, I call it. You've got to put up a shield around you that, you know, you can see, you can still see through it. You're not blinded, but you don't have to have it on you. And it's okay not to absorb people's negativity. And I think it's important because I always say our subconscious mind is like a 2-year-old's. It's that suggestible. And you think a 2-year-old, you tell them anything, they believe it. And I could make or break a toddler
Sure.
within a week. I could either be really positive towards them and really encouraging and make them feel amazing about themselves, or I could be really negative and abusive and awful. And it would impact on how that child viewed themselves within a week, you know. And that is when you know that our subconscious is sensitive and we need to feed the good wolf, like we need to feed the positive, because the ratio cannot be more negativity than positivity. You just can't. And the way you can just completely and utterly change how you feel just from the messages you give yourself.
Most certainly. I view it as your unconscious mind really being like sitting in a movie, if you like, and you're watching this movie screen, this movie play out in front of you, and you're the main protagonist. You're the
Yeah.
character in in this, and but most of us, most of the time, that movie goes on autopilot, and then but it's not until you actually consciously decide to tell your other than conscious mind how you want the movie to play out that things actually begin to change. And I think that's is highly relevant to what you do with your kickboxing because you're consciously training your other than
Yeah.
conscious mind to do something. I think a lot of people think that hypnotherapy is just about passive, little bit like meditation and being
Yeah.
completely passive, but there are roles and there are responsibilities
Mm.
and
I say to people, it's going to be work. Your brain's going to be doing some work. You'll be relaxed while you're doing it, but you're not just a passive bystander. You're in the driving seat. And you're right. We can constantly, and with using EFT tapping and using hypnosis and self hypnosis, we can constantly reprogram our brains. And like I say, it depends what wolf you want to feed. If you want to feed the helpless wolf that doesn't love itself or feel great about its achievements or what it can achieve, you're going to live there. But if you keep going and you keep going, I mean, you've only got David Goggins who starts a 300-mile race with 2 broken feet, you know, and he completed the race. It's mind over matter. And no matter what you say, you can program your brain for better things. You know, Mike
definitely.
Tyson was speaking of boxing, Mike Tyson was hypnotized by his coach. And he used to hypnotize him every night and say, "You're the strongest. Nobody's going to get in the way of you." And, you know, he's my boxing hero, controversial or
Yeah,
not, but you can't argue with that man's mindset.
totally. Totally. I mean, he went out and by the time he actually went out there, he was already in trance, wasn't he?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
absolutely nothing was going to stand between him and
No.
getting that title. I think that is so true of many athletes, that
Mm.
people that are really at the top of I suppose it's like accessing a almost like a waking trance state, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I've helped a lot of fighters actually up coming up to fights to get their head in the game. They want to get back to, because the thing is, they know they've got to train in the gym, but they want to love it because it's hard in the winter when you're pounding the pavement. But when hypnosis can gas you up into loving it again and wanting to be there, and that pavement's your home, and then all of a sudden, life just gets better for them, you know.
Definitely. It is. It can be something as simple as like the difference between the glass being half full and half empty, can't it?
Absolutely.
It really,
Yeah.
it really can. I mean, it's they logically they mean the same thing, but emotionally they mean something
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah, and another poor Mike Tyson, he's getting it today, but another one, he said, discipline is doing something that you hate like you love it every day. And
Yeah,
actually, it changes the perspective of how you see it. That's why some people enjoy abseiling and some people don't. It's what gets you going. And as hypnotists, we're here to find out what it is that gets you going. And we're going to harness that, you know?
definitely, and utilize it to help people become more of who they really are and discover their real power.
Yeah,
It's wonderful what you're doing there, Danielle. I'm
Andrew, I've seen
trying
your
to think.
work.
Can I ask you a really deep question?
Ask me whatever you want.
Okay, so if you could reach out 1 year, 5, even 10 years from now, and as you look back at the younger version of you of today, right here, right now, bringing with you all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom, all of the experience, and all of the understandings that allowed you to be the very best that you could be, what advice would you give to that younger version of you that would allow you to live the life of your dreams?
Keep going, keep loving you, keep striving, keep searching, keep reading, yeah, just keep going and just love what you have, love every day because yesterday's gone, it's irrelevant. Tomorrow ain't here yet. 24 hours I've got now, I'm going to make them as beautiful as I can.
Fantastic. And that's really profound. That's really profound, Danielle. Thank you so much for being my guest today and sharing your experience and your genius in this
Thank you,
world.
Hamer. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Okay, so just when someone wants to make an appointment with you, what's the best way for them to get hold of you, Danielle?
So I'm a little bit old school. So I work off Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. So I've got a page called Hypnosis with Danielle. It's an add friend page. Add me up. I put all my stuff on there. I'm on TikTok, HypnoDan1, or you can reach out to me on Instagram, HypnoDan.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to put all those links up in the comments section of this video for anyone who would like to book a session with Danielle. And on behalf of Danielle and myself, I would like to thank all of you for participating in this, our very first episode of Hyp Talk, the channel for all things hypnosis. Thank you very much. And wherever you are, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or morning. Thank you. Bye now.
Thank you.